Well, welcome back to the Ashes debrief. I've got Isha Guha, Dan Norcross and Phil Tufnell. We've got a party here this evening. I've got bad news, lads. It's same old, same old. It's the 6th time we're having the same conversation, Dan.
It is, but you know, let's not be too downhearted.
No.
Everybody in the team can sometimes get a bit downhearted because we don't quite know what to say. So, you know, it is same old, but at least we're here watching it, aren't we? That is itself a privilege.
And let's face it, it's a good night out in Adelaide.
Yeah.
There we go, it definitely is. Australia finished the day, they are 356 ahead of England. We've got to talk about Travis Head, him going to the top of the order, putting his hand up. The Australians are calling it Trav Ball. He's been outstanding again.
Yeah, Trav Ball has usurped Baz Ball. Stunning century in that first test match. He often sets the tone in innings. You think back to 21 Ashes at the Gabba, you can't stop him. But I thought this innings actually was him being a lot more sensible. He was a lot more restrained. It wasn't that easy out there. Tricky 20 minutes before lunch, and then obviously that second session he kind of started batting England out of the game, found some partnerships. There was a tiny little moment for England halfway through the afternoon session.
But when he was on 99.
When he was on 99, Harry Brooks sadly dropped him. And then, you know, it was a frenzy for the South Australian fans. 4 consecutive centuries in 4 consecutive test matches. Yeah. He loves it.
Tuffers, is he going to be giving England nightmares?
Well, of course he will do. I mean, he just keeps churning it out, doesn't he? I mean, it's been the story of the summer down here, really. We've had those little door ajar moments, and they've just slammed them shut.
That's my next note. It's almost like, what is happening? England took wickets today, and Australia said thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
It was clinical, wasn't it? Because that was the thing. England had this tiny fraction of a moment because they started the day so well, and they did pick up a couple of early wickets. One of them quite fortuitous, let's face it, the Weatheralds one, when the ball was trying to be pitching outside leg. So a bit of fortune was going their way. Then they got a little unlucky, but they picked up the second wicket. But that's the point when, you know, Travis Head decided, just as Isha said, that he could have gone Burko, but instead he goes, there's so long left in this game, and it's something that Australia have been very good at over the years. You know, we've talked about this streak of 17 games without a win. A lot of the time it's when they've had a lead on first innings, they go out to bat, and a third innings you can get in a pickle. I have a theory, you know, there's a pickle theory about the third innings. You're not quite sure. Like pickle juice, in that it can be quite repellent to the side who's got to do it, you know, because you're not quite sure the tempo. You don't know whether to push hard or whether to stay in. And they just found 4 and over, and Travis Head was superb at it. My biggest takeout, though, was I don't think England have the faintest idea how to get him out.
No.
He just stays leg side of the ball, and whatever they try, he just, well, you said it on Tom's, slashes it away.
I actually think their strategy was a lot better, and I think with the ball, they actually bowled a lot better as a unit in this innings. They pitched it up to him early, then they went to the short stuff. They did nearly catch him out on the boundary, Q end of the bat.
Yeah.
But it was I mean, look, they have a spinner who was getting it to turn, but it wasn't consistent because he's a part-timer. So I actually think whatever strategy they had, they nearly executed it, more so than any other bowling performance that we've seen in this series.
I'd like to see his wagon wheel, because there'll just be one great big spoke.
Yeah, okay, short and wide.
Well, it was Simon Mann said on air, we're going to rename Will Jack Short, because everything he bowled today seemed to be short tuffers. And the holding roll that Australia have a bowler that goes at 2.5 and over. Yeah. The holding roll England he goes at 5 and over.
Yeah, tough. It's hard work, isn't it? Especially if you're a part-timer. And I think it's similar as well with Jamie Smith as well. You're out there in the cauldron, you're playing in the toughest part of the world. You're against Australia, and I think sometimes I had it sometimes, belief issues. You know, you're sitting there, you're being thrown the ball. It's the second time he's bowled the most overs in the innings, and he's the part-timer. And sometimes you're sitting there and you're going, hold on a minute, you know, should I be here? Should I be doing this? I've only bowled 250 overs in 3 years, and so that belief, you need to have that belief in your own abilities to sort of like wrestle a game away. And I think sometimes a little bit Jamie Smith standing too far back, I thought. You know, he needs to be constantly.
That frustrated you, didn't it?
Well, it did. I mean, you're looking for wickets, and as a wicket keeper, you're the engine, you're the soul, you know. And I think he might be sort of sitting there going, hold on a minute, I'm third choice for Surrey, and now I've got the gloves on. and we're trying to win an Ashes game. So I think there is a little bit of that belief.
I've done 10 Christmases here and 10 seasons in a row, and I've seen touring teams come here with so much promise, and then they just can't get their legs right with the ball. They can't play situational test cricket. This bowling attack from Australia are unbelievable. They just keep coming at you. They do not give you an inch. They know exactly how to bowl in different conditions at different sessions of the day. And it makes me think about that India test series with the Border Gavaskar Trophy. They've been the closest to beating Australia in their own conditions. They beat them once with 5 caps between them in the bowling attack. So it can be done. It's just a case of knowing what the strategy should be and then being able to execute it. And England haven't been able to do that often enough. No Ben Stokes as well with the ball. Obviously, that was a big blow.
I want to talk about Ben Stokes because Jeetan Patel came and did the presser, and he said, as far as we know, he is fit to bowl. We've had Jeetan Patel, we've had Saker, we've had, who did we have yesterday? Cheskovic. We might even get the bus driver tomorrow, Dan.
Well, we might get a bus driver. I'll tell you who not to get. They get the security guy because he doesn't like cameras. So that's probably unwise. Yeah.
What about the snooker operator?
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
Let's get him on the debrief.
Yeah, I want to find out who he is.
Yeah, well, we need to push back a bit, don't we? We need to have some kind of righteous indignation because it is tough. And we've been talking there. You've been talking about sides coming with inexperienced players, but I think the difference is that England have got players who are doing things that aren't their normal role. I mean, it's a bit of a throwaway line to say Jamie Smith's third choice keeper, but he keeps behind Ben Foakes. So just like Tuffers was saying, you're not quite sure if you're going to be okay. Will Jacks has bowled fewer overs in first-class cricket in 3 years than Joe Root has bowled in Test cricket.
Bryden Carse opening the bowling.
Bryden Carse opening the bowling. None of these things are normal for them. So I think at least when India came, they had bowlers who were bowlers, and they may not have been used to doing it in Test cricket, but they might have been at least used to bowling. And I would suggest that it's a good idea if we're going to have a bowler that they are a bowler. It's a radical, crazy thought. It's just one that has come to me right now.
Tuffers, Ben Stokes not bowling today.
Yeah.
Is that an issue for England? Is there an injury? Is there a problem?
Well, I'm not quite sure.
Well, there has to be. I mean,
there has to be.
crunch time in the series.
Yeah.
It's series on the line. He hasn't bowled. There's definitely an injury. So
Yes.
They haven't kind of told us what it is. They say he's fine, but there's absolutely no question that Ben Stokes would have been bowling out there today.
He always does, doesn't he? I mean, when the series is on the line, we've seen him do these mammoth spells, sometimes to his detriment.
Yeah.
It could be that he's simply exhausted and the cramp
Yeah.
has meant that he can't get through it, or he thinks he's not going to bowl at the right pace.
No.
But the thing was, they said that he was able to bowl, and the reason for that is because they don't want to give the Australians the hope that he won't bowl. But the thing is, they don't need the hope he doesn't bowl because he's not bowling.
They're already 350 in front.
It's there.
356. They've got the 6 extra runs. One bowler that has been brilliant throughout this Test match. I'm now going to call him an all-rounder, Jofra Archer.
yay.
There was a slight glimmer of hope for England at the start of the day with that partnership of 106 between Stokes and Archer. Isha, how important was that in this Test match?
Oh, stunning. His defence was incredible. His cover driving was exceptional. So, look, you can very much call him an all-rounder with that partnership with Ben Stokes. I thought it showed a lot of fight and resilience in the morning. I do actually still think, I know you look at Travis Head's wagon wheel, and yes, there would have been a lot short and wide. But Josh Tongue, I thought he bowled really well. That pace that he bowled a fuller length. They finally got how to bowl on this Adelaide pitch. The short balls looked threatening. Bryden Carse as well was a lot better. And Jofra Archer, we know how quality he is when he gets going. So look, he's been a standout in this Test match. It's just a shame that there hasn't been the relentless pressure from everyone else for England to really put this Australian lineup under pressure.
Now, this one is for Tuffers because you've been quite vocal about it. At the end of an Ashes series and an Ashes defeat, there's always change. Captain goes, coach goes, things are thrown in the air, shred paper up, we start again. But you were quite vocal today on you're really keen on Baz actually keeping his job.
Well, I am. As you say, you come down under, and we were all a little bit deluded, I'm thinking. I mean, it happens a lot, doesn't it? And then what happens? Everyone gets thrown out, and it's a change of regime, a change of style and everything. Listen, we've all been on this journey, haven't we? And we've witnessed some fantastic cricket. I don't want that to stop just because you lose down under. Crikey, we lose all the time down under. You know what I mean? So, I don't want any of that to happen. I think Baz should definitely stay. He's obviously the white ball coach as well. Okay, there might be a few little tinkers around and everything, but, don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater every time you come to Australia.
Well, let's try and remember how much fun we've had. I don't mean so much in this series, but we've had enormous fun. Well, no, that's as well, because they've won games so quickly that's given us a bit more time in the bar. But 3-0 in Pakistan, 500 in a day, winning in New Zealand, massive chases, filling out test grounds in England, and that is, let's face it, what the ECB's job is to do, is to get people enthused in cricket and get them coming into grounds in England. Doesn't really matter how many come to grounds in Australia in a way. But flippancy aside, he has transformed a side that was like mortifyingly crushed by its own lack of confidence into something that is, until this series, really, really upbeat. And I just think there are just lessons you can learn from this that don't have to be everything's wrong. Yeah. It's some things can be done better.
Let's be honest, they're up against a well-oiled machine in this Australian team.
Every
single player, they've all got experience here, and that, there's a lot of talk about how old this team were for Australia, but they look
like spring chickens at the minute.
They all have so much experience playing in these conditions. I think with England, we have seen those glimmers and moments of okay, they can potentially do it, take that fearless nature away from them, but actually there's been too much hesitant batting, hesitant with the ball, because they haven't. I think what they've really lacked is one more experienced player in the bowling attack and one more experienced player in the batting lineup to really carry them through. When Ben Stokes has needed support, he hasn't been able to find it, and that's what I think they've really struggled with.
I just realised, 4 years' time, they've got a new captain at Lancashire now. James Anderson.
He shows promise.
Yeah, and I think he's got a few test wickets under his belt. He knows a little bit about Australia. He'll only be 47. Get him in.
Okay, Isha, with all of Australia's experience here down under, if England win one game in this series, is that a success, or has the tour already been a failure?
I think it is now. From when we're
looking at 5-0.
Yeah. Look, I think so much hope for all of us. Let's be honest, we've seen England that much here in these conditions, and I think there was a lot of promise coming into this series. I think you do have to be positive and attacking against this Australian side, but there have been too many times where England have got themselves into a good position and then just thrown it away. For me, it's been a pressure of expectation. When they're expected to do something well, they've really struggled, but when they've had their backs against the wall, you never know what to get from this team. This morning, and that 100-run partnership, you wouldn't have expected that. So you never know. 400 to chase, you just never know.
Not with this team. Right, it's that time where you guys get to ask me any of your Ashes-related questions. And Toby in Suffolk has been in touch. He says, should England change their team for the 4th Test, Tuffers?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, what have you got to come in? I think perhaps Ollie Pope. It's going to be a huge day for him next couple of days, isn't it? He really needs to score, and there's only sort of Bethel here, to replace him. So that might be one. You might freshen up the seamers a little bit. Apart from that, good luck.
If you think that Bethel's going to come in 4 years' time as well, then playing him at Melbourne and Sydney, it's no harm for him to experience the conditions, is it?
Yeah, Ollie Pope under pressure in this final innings. Otherwise, they change up that number 3 spot. They could have Will Jacks up there. They could have Bethel coming in.
Bethel doesn't have to go in at 3. He doesn't have to go at 3. Why not sort of slip him in at 6? I'll tell you who's England's new number 3. Jofra Archer.
After today, absolutely.
Like that. But also one other thing, if Stokes is injured, then actually you do need to turn Will Jacks into a batter again and free up that slot, take Pope out, and you probably have to bring Atkinson back in, or another seamer, Potts or whoever, don't you?
We could debate this for hours and hours. Don't forget, if you've got any questions to ask me, scan the QR code on your screen. I've got a fun fact to end the show tonight. Will Jacks has got 100 in both innings. The last person to do that in an Ashes game, the great Shane Warne. So there you go. He's got some sort of record. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow for the Ashes debrief, and the highlights are on the iPlayer at 5 p.m.